Yo guys, what is up? It's Zebruhfy here, coming at y'all with another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at optimal settings for OBS, whether you're streaming, recording. We're going to be going through all of it. So, first thing we're going to do is, I'm not going to go through how to create a source and how to create your scenes and all that, because you guys most likely already have that or know how to do that. But anyways, I'm going to go through how to set up your audio and set up all your settings depending on your internet connection, your PC, all that. So, real quick before I start the tutorial, if this helps you out or if you enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to support me on making videos, journey to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you, so thank you all of you who watch my videos, especially on a weekly basis. If you watch every single one of my videos, I appreciate that so much. But anyway, first thing we're going to do is we're going to hop into the settings at the bottom left. And once we have the settings, it'll open up this little box. I'm going to drag this out of your way so you guys don't have to look at that anymore. Okay, so in the general tab, there's a very important setting right here. Disable hardware acceleration requires restart. So you're going to want to tick this, and then once you tick this, make sure it's checked green. Click restart stream labels, or it just, okay, I don't know what that, don't click that one. I don't even know if it's supposed to say that. But after you check disable hardware acceleration, restart Streamlabs OBS and reset the settings tab. So just close out of all of it and then open it back up, and it won't look different at all to you. What hardware acceleration does is it uses your GPU to render. So if you're playing a game and you have Streamlabs open, your game is most likely going to be lagging because it's stressing your GPU rather than your CPU or your monitor. So it really depends on your specs, but usually I recommend having this ticked off, so disable it, because I mean, if you're lagging while you're streaming, this could very well be one of the reasons. Now we're going to check out stream, so you just want to link whatever you have. Now, your output, so in here, I can't do the drop downs, but you guys can look at my settings. So you can copy most of this, but I'm just gonna run down some of these based on your CPU, your GPU, and your internet. They may be different for you. So output mode, you want to have this set to advanced. Audio track, usually just leave it on the default, which is usually 1. Your encoder, okay. So this is a very important part here. Your encoder, if you have a better CPU than a GPU, so if your CPU and GPU are equal, like if they're pretty much the same, you should probably use NVENC. NVENC uses your GPU to encode, so it'll be stressing your GPU more rather than your CPU. So software x264 uses your CPU, NVENC uses your GPU. So if you have a better processor, go with software x264. So I have a better processor, so I'll just show you guys as my example. So I have an i7-9700K, which is a really good processor, but then I have a GTX 1060. So obviously my CPU is higher end than my GPU. So I have it set to software x264, where it's using my CPU because my CPU is faster. And it can handle more stress while gaming. But if I use my GPU, then I'm going to be losing frames. So it's totally up to you. It's totally based off of your system. So better CPU, x264, better graphics card, NVENC. Now you want to check this box, enforce streaming service encoder settings. Rescale output, what this does is when you're live streaming on like Twitch or YouTube, so you can change, how you can change the quality, right? Like you can drop down in the settings, change the quality of the stream you're watching. Rescale output, if you have this unchecked, there will only be one quality option on your stream. But if you have it checked, you'll be able to have multiple quality options. So I have this unchecked just because I feel like it's unnecessary at the stage I'm at, because rescale output will take up more of your computer's resources. But I'd say if you have this going to a higher audience, like you're averaging 10, if you're averaging like 10 or more viewers, then I would recommend this, because you know, it can prevent like buffering and stuff like that sometimes, but if you're a smaller streamer, I'd say this isn't very necessary. Okay, rate control, you want to have set to CBR. Now your bitrate, this is a very important thing when it comes to streaming. So how we're going to determine your bitrate, so 1000 bitrate equals 1 megabyte per second. I'm going to try to explain this as simply as possible. It's not really easy to explain because it's kind of a complex, you know, if you don't know much about computers, it's going to be a little bit confusing, but I'm going to try to explain it. So open up your web browser. Okay, so this number, this bitrate, it's not going to be the same for all of us. So mine's 5000, but yours most likely won't be 5000. 5000 is a good number for me, but I'm going to show you how to determine the number for you. So what you're going to do is open up any web browser, head to speedtest.net. Now, once you're on speedtest.net, it should look like this. So it should be like this website. Make sure you're here at the right spot. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to click the green go. I do have this dragged down so you guys can't see my IP and my location, stuff like that. It will tell you your IP and your server. So I'm going to hit go, and then based off of this test, we're going to find out. So you'll see it'll do like, it'll figure out your ping first, so 10 ping, and then it tells you your download speed. Now it's just going to go through this real quick. I'm sorry guys, this part will be a little bit longer than it needs to be just because it's doing the test. You can skip about 10 seconds if you'd like to, then it'll be done. But anyway, it's just going to figure out our download and upload speed. So for streaming, a good upload speed for streaming is probably like at least 10 to 15 megabytes per second. If you have less than 10 megabytes per second upload, then you're probably going to have a little bit of a hard time. Streaming sometimes because your connection, you know, if you have more people connected, it'll obviously go lower. If you have less people connected, it'll be fine. So just in that safe zone, I'd say 10 to 15 is a good number for when you're starting out streaming. So if you have 5 megabytes per second upload, you'd put 5000 bitrate. So if you have a speed like me, like if you have at least 10 upload, I would go with 5000 for the bitrate. If you're streaming 720p 60 fps, I'd say 4000 is probably a good number. If you're streaming 720p 30 fps, I'd go with 2500 to 3000. 1080p 60 fps, I'd go with 5000 as I have here. 1080p 30 fps would probably also be like 3500 to 4000. Now keep in mind, this all is determined by your internet. So if you type in a number here, if you type in 5000 but your upload speed's only 1 megabyte per second, your stream is it's not gonna look pretty. I'm just gonna say that. So your bitrate is determined by your internet. You can run the auto optimizer. I'm actually not sure where it is, but there is an auto optimizer setting in here that will automatically do it. I think when you first download the application, it does that for you. But if you're streaming at 60 fps 720p, do like 3500. If you're streaming at 1080p 60 fps, go with 5000. But if you have a super low upload speed, you're probably not going to be able to stream, so I just stick to recording. Now keyframe interval, you want to set this to, okay, so I have mine set to 0, which is auto. A lot of people prefer 2, so there's not really much of a big difference. This isn't a super important setting, but just leave it on either 0 or 2. 2 is what like a lot of people recommend, but if you just want to be safe about it, just leave it on 0. Now if you chose x264, you will have the CPU usage preset. So never put this, so the higher the speed, the less CPU it's using. You may think, oh, well, I have a really good CPU, so I'm going to go as low as possible. So that's actually, you're not going to want to do that because it's going to take up so much of your CPU that it will basically just like Like, it'll take up too much of your CPU, and your PC won't be very happy with that. So I'd recommend either the lowest you want to go is probably faster. I have mine on very fast because I don't want to use a ton of CPU while I'm streaming in a game. If I'm playing, whether it's a tournament, creative, whatever I'm playing, I want it on very fast so it doesn't use that much. But if you want a little bit of extra quality, you can go down to faster. Just know the lower the speed you go, the more CPU percent it will take up. Now profile, you want to have this on high, so to make sure that it's on high priority, that all of these settings in here are getting prioritized. Tune, you can leave this to none. X264 options, if you have that, just skip it. Now audio, this is based on your PC as well. So sample rate, you want to have it 44.1 kilohertz no matter what. I mean, honestly, either of these two work, but 44.1 kilohertz is the standard. That's what everyone basically uses. So that's what I recommend. Channels, you want to have this on stereo. Most likely, you will all have it on stereo. Don't have mono is not good. Trust me. Okay, now your desktop audio device 1. This is going to be your headphones, your speakers, whatever you are listening to your game through your desktop audio through. This is what you want to choose. So a way you can figure this out is you can go in the bottom left and search up sound. You can go to sound settings, and as you can see, my output is Focusrite USB audio. So I'm going to go in here and find Focusrite USB audio. Now same for the microphone. It's Focusrite USB audio. So I'm going to go in here and select Focusrite USB audio. Now, obviously yours probably won't be the same as mine unless you do have a Focusrite mixer. So that was just an example. So you'd go into your sound settings and see what they are if you don't already know. And once you do that, you're pretty much done, unless you can also add extra audio devices if you're like doing a podcast, or if you have more than one thing that you want to record, you can add more audio devices. But I'm not going to do that because I don't use multiples. Now video, this is another important part. So your base canvas resolution, you want your base canvas resolution to be the size of your monitor. So whatever your monitor is, you're going to want to, like your monitor's base resolution, you're going to want to have as your canvas. Now, I like to have the canvas and the output. The canvas is like what you're going to see when you're setting up everything in the window, and the output scaled is going to be like what people see it as on Twitch. So I recommend putting these both as the same number, because if you have the base canvas and the output scaled as different numbers, it'll actually take up more resources from your computer. So just leave it simple, make them both the same. Whatever you want your viewers to see, make sure that's the output. Now, downscale filter, another pretty important setting. So the higher the samples, the better it's gonna look. But the better it looks, like the higher the samples, it will look better. But keep in mind, it'll also take up more of your computer's resources. So since I have a really good CPU and I want the quality to look the best, I have it set to 32 samples. But if you have a bad CPU, you'd want to go with bilinear, which is not sharpened scaling, it's just normal. So if you have a really good PC, go with 32. If you have a low-end PC, go with no scaling. If you have a medium PC or you're not sure, go with the middle option, that's 16 samples. Now FPS type, you're going to want to go with common FPS values. This number for all of you guys will be either 60 or 30. I record/stream at 60 because I want my viewers to have a good viewing quality, and I want all of my streams to be watchable and enjoyable at a high quality. So mine is at 60 because I have a good PC. But if you have a lower end PC, I'd recommend starting off at 30, and you can maybe test it out at 30 or 60. I wouldn't recommend any other numbers than that, because 30 and 60 are just the common numbers, and you know, they work the best. I just recommend to stay on those. So hotkeys, we're not going to go through this because this is all personal preference. I don't use any of these, but we can skip right to advanced. So right here, process priority, you're going to want to have this So you're not going to want to put it on the high. A high will make this prioritized over everything over your PC. So if you're playing a game and recording or streaming, it's going to make OBS higher priority than your game, which we do not want. So you're going to, if you have a higher end PC, then you're going to want to set this above normal. But if you have a low to medium end PC, you're going to want to have this at normal. So keep in mind, setting this to above normal will make your stream look better, and it will make OBS run better. But again, it's going to take up more of your computer's resources that you'll have to sacrifice. So I'm just going to leave mine on normal because I don't want OBS to be too prioritized. But if you have a good PC, go with above normal. I'd highly recommend it. So color format, you're going to want to have as NV12. Actually, no, you're going to want to have it as RGB. I don't know why I had it as NV12. Your color space, this doesn't matter really. It's totally your choice. I like 709 because it gives you a more wider variety of colors and it looks a little bit brighter. But these two don't really look that much different. Color range, you're going to want to have as full. Force GPU is render device. You're going to want to have this unticked. Unless you have like a RTX 2080 Ti, you might want to tick it, but I don't recommend it. Now, there's not much other important stuff in here other than if you want a stream delay, which I'm not going to use that. And here's another important setting, low latency mode and dynamically change bitrate. So low latency mode is, this is if you want to be a very what word am I trying to say? Interactional. That might, I hope that's a word. If you want to be a very interactional streamer, then you're going to want to have low latency mode on. Keep in mind, this is going to make your stream delay a lot less. Like, you will have less, if you have good internet, you'll have like a 3-second stream delay. But if your internet gets bad, your stream delay will go up. So this will take up more internet and it'll take up more of your PC's resources. But I'd highly recommend this if you like to interact with your chat and be super social. But if you're just trying to focus on like grinding the game you're playing and to get really good at a game, I'd recommend turning this off because it'll make your PC run a little bit less good. Now, you can leave this to default. Dynamically change bitrate when dropping frames. Honestly, I would recommend having this ticked. So what this does is if you're dropping frames, then your bitrate will go up or down based off of like your PC's performance. Now I'm gonna have this unticked just because I feel like my stream runs better without it, but this will make sure that your bitrate is staying at a level that your internet can handle and at the same time making your stream look good. Scene collections, you can also skip this. Notifications, you can also skip this. Appearance, I like to have mine on night because that's kind of bright for me, not gonna lie. But remote control, also don't need this. Don't need this. Don't need, actually, game overlay, you want to make sure this is off. Make sure it's ticked off. Alright guys, so that has been it for the OBS optimization tutorial. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to DM me on my socials, Zebruhfy on basically everything except for Snapchat. And if you have any questions, just make sure to let me know. You can comment on my video, you can hit my social medias, anywhere. I will try to respond as fast as possible because I love to help you guys out. And if this video helped you out at all, make sure to like and subscribe to see all videos in the future, and turn on post notifications. I upload a new video every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love all you guys. Thank you to everyone who stuck around this far. And yeah, guys, just make sure to have a great day, stay safe, and I love every single one of you. See you next week.